What's up everybody, welcome back or to the channel. So today we're going to do a real quick unboxing and initial review on a product that I've been excited about getting for some time. Now let me just give you a little bit of a background story here. Now for some of you that don't know, I'm a very big outdoors kind of guy. I used to do a lot more hunting when I was younger. I love firearms. I love shooting, target practicing, shooting compound bows, shooting crossbows, and so forth. So I used to do a lot more shooting is what I'm trying to say. Now fast forward to today, I don't do as much hunting, but I still like to do a lot of shooting. Now the problem that I'm having, as most of you are probably already aware, our country's being ran by a bunch of crooked politics and people with hurt feelings. Now what that has done is caused more issues for people like you and I who do like to go target practice and shoot our guns for fun and for sport. Now what I am referring to is the fact that ammo is very hard to get, and when you do find ammo, it's a lot more expensive than what it used to be, making it not as easy to just target practice and blow through ammo like we used to back in the day. Now I have been doing a lot of research online trying to find a product that would help me target practice with my guns, but without spending a ton of money on ammo, because again, ammo is very scarce where I'm at, and if you do find it, the stores are limiting you to 1, 2, or max 3 boxes. And if you do find ammo, it's so high in cost, you don't even want to buy it. And even if you do buy it, you don't want to shoot it. But what we're going to review today is a product that is going to help us shoot our guns without ammo. And that product is the Itarget laser target system. Now, this particular product here, it's primarily just a laser bullet. So there's no gunpowder, there's no primer, but it's a bullet that's specifically sized for certain calibers. So I actually went with the 9mm version. So this one here will fit perfectly in any gun that takes a 9mm. Now they do have other calibers available, so just make sure when you do order one, you get the caliber that's meant for your gun. But this particular kit here is the full kit. Now you can buy just the laser bullet alone, but keep in mind, it will still work. Whatever target you're shooting at will show the red laser dot the second you pull the trigger, but there's no way to reference a picture of that. Now this particular kit here does come with a target system that utilizes your smartphone to take photographic imagery and take pictures of your shot, which I thought is pretty cool. So without further ado, let's get into unboxing this and see how this thing works. Let's jump in. Okay, so really nothing else to it, just a basic white box all the way around. It just says Itarget on the front. Open it up. You're going to be greeted with your main target here. Now this is just a basic plastic backboard here. A little bit of branding right here on the front. It does have the T channel at the bottom, which will slide into our base. And it just basically has a paper target here, which I'm assuming is replaceable with pretty much any other target you want to use. But if you want this specific layout, you could probably order more from Itarget's website. But that's pretty much about it for that. Open this up. This is your base. Now your base up here, as you can see that T slot right there, that's where your target is going to just slide in right like that. It just slides in, okay? Then you're going to see right here, here's your Itarget branding on the front, but right here where my thumb is, there is a spring load smartphone holder. So you're basically going to put your smartphone in right here, and the spring load will hold it into place. Let's see here. Now it does have this screw right here, which will allow you to make a few adjustments to the smartphone holder here. So just keep that in mind there. Pretty much just level it off and tighten it up. Okay, but it is spring loaded, so it will accept different size phones. But just keep in mind, if you have one of the larger plus size phones, it'll still fit, but if you happen to have a very bulky case, it might not fit. So just keep that in mind. Now it does expand. All you gotta do is slide it out a little bit like that, and that's all you gotta do there. Now another thing it does have on the bottom, it looks like it has a screw here that I assume you can screw in like a phone camera tripod. That way you could basically have this set up anywhere you want, wherever a tripod goes, or you could just set it up on a table wherever you want to put it. So that's about it for the stand. Now if we just go ahead and slide this in like this, level it up, there's a little crease right here. I would just say try to line that up with the actual crease right here. Now the only thing it doesn't do is lock in place, so that's one thing I wish it did have. What I'll probably do is maybe just take like a self-tapping screw and screw it in from the back, or I'll buy some type of a clamp that'll clamp it in position. That way, because as you see, as I just moved it there, it slides around everywhere. So other than that though, not a big deal. If you just set it there, it'll be perfectly fine. But just keep in mind, it will wiggle around in place. So what I would recommend is if you don't care about disassembling it and storing it in a box, you could glue it in place, or I would just say use a screw or some type of a clamp, put it into position, line it up, and then clamp it down. That way it doesn't move. But that's pretty much about it right there, okay? Then in the package here, you're going to have your bullet. Now I already opened this bullet up the other day when I first got this in, just to kind of familiarize myself with the bullet. But this is not a real bullet. So for some of you out there, just please keep in mind, this is not a real bullet. It's really just a small metal laser, okay, that's shaped like a bullet. So if you pop this out like this, okay, you unscrew the back, okay. Now, it already comes with 3 little batteries inside, and there's typically a little cap on top of here. So you want to unscrew the back, take the little black cap off, and then screw the back on. That way the batteries actually work, because that cap is kept in there for storage so that you're not wasting your batteries. And then that's pretty much about it. Now, the back here is not a primer. It's basically just a rubber pad. Let me see if I can get my fingers to work here. So if you look here on my hand, see if I can get the shadow to it. There you go. So if you just see pressing on the back where your primer would primarily be, it has a red laser. And that's basically when you load this in your gun, when your firing pin hits that, it's basically just going to go ahead and hit it and put the laser right on the target, okay? So that's that. It does also come with 3 extra batteries. Now, these are going to last you for many, many shots, but keep in mind, you got 3 in here already, and it comes with 3 backups. So you're going to be set for quite a while. But if you do a whole lot of shooting, you might want to just buy a few extra replacement batteries just in case. So we're going to set that box aside. So the next thing we're going to do is put the smartphone into the holder here and go over setting this up. But we're going to go ahead and move into the garage for now, just because the sun is right above me and the sun is going to cause some glare issues. So let's go ahead in the garage and get this set up. Okay, so we're back. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you actually download the Itarget app. Okay, that's what it looks like. So you're just going to make sure you open up the Itarget app. It's going to load. The first thing you're going to be greeted with is some warnings, just basically reminding you to make sure you take your magazine out of your gun. You make sure that there are no magazines nearby. There's no live ammunition around so that you don't accidentally put a live round in your gun. Basically, it's just giving you some warnings, okay? Because a lot of people are going to be shooting this in their house or in their garage or in their basement, and they just want to make sure that there are no live rounds nearby. So just keep that in mind and be careful. Then you're going to hit continue. And then you have the camera app. Now, the first button at the very top here, as you can see, the little settings app right there, it's going to put you into a settings mode, which you can go ahead and change your distance for feet. So you could go, we'll leave it at 15 feet for now. Change your laser sensitivity, your laser offset, shoot and game score, shoot to start. What that means is normally you would have to tap the screen to start, but to shoot the screen means when you're ready to start, you just shoot the screen. Gunshot sound, default, bullet hole look, bullet hole size, all that stuff. It's just basically some settings you can play around with. So we're going to go back. The middle button here, which is the crosshairs, you could choose a round target, which is what we're shooting at here. Or if you happen to get a different target, like a person target, you can use that one as well, which I assume you could just buy more of those on Itarget's website. Okay. Then the bottom one is lining up your phone to your target. You can either do it auto, which is what the A is for, or you hit manual, and you can pretty much use pinch to zoom and move things around to line it up. So we're going to leave it on auto for now. Then what you're going to do is slide your phone into the holder and just make sure you've extended this, because if you have not extended it, your camera is not going to pick up the full target because it's too close. So once you do that, you're just going to pretty much move your phone around. As you can see here, that auto lineup feature right here lines up your triangles and your circles. So it's pretty much lined up pretty perfect right there. But if you need a little bit of help adjusting that, you can go into the manual mode and use little pinch to zoom, angle your phone front to back, kind of tilt it left to right. The whole goal is to get this camera lens to line up with that target, which as you can see, it has. You want the pink areas lined up with the target. So once it's lined up, you're just basically going to double tap to start. So what we could do is double tap. Okay, then you see it went from dark pink to like a lighter pink here, which means we're ready to go. Now what we have to do is just take our laser bullet, which again, this is not a real bullet, it's just a laser. Okay, set that there. Let's grab my Glock for now. Okay. As you can see here, no magazine, completely empty, dry fired, nothing in here, completely safe. I'm gonna take the case, close it up, move it out of the way so that there's no way I can accidentally grab a live round. So now I just have the regular gun here. So what I would say is cock it back, lock your slide, take your laser. The little black rubber pad on the back goes towards the back of the gun. Your striker is gonna hit that rubber pad to activate the laser. You're gonna have to manually put the bullet into the gun. You do not wanna put it into a magazine. You wanna manually put it into the chamber. Slide your gun forward, you're good to go. So now when you pull the trigger, look at my wall here, watch. You see that real quick red dot? Now, this does not have any kind of gas or chambering mechanism. So every time you want to shoot, you're going to have to cock the gun. So I'm using a Gen 5 Glock 19, okay? So every time I want to shoot, you have to cock the gun. Watch. Red dot. Now I'm getting some light. It's kind of hard to see. I'll try to do it on the table here. See? So every time you want to shoot it, just make sure you cock the gun. Now, what you want to do is when you have your target set up, you're going to want to make sure whatever you set on the program here, let's say 15 feet, you want to make sure you're 15 feet away. Because if you're shooting at that at say 5 foot, when it's set for 15, it's not going to register your shot. The same way as if you have it set at 15 feet and you're 30 feet away, it's not going to register your shot. So what I'm going to do here, we're just going to do this in the garage for now. I'm going to measure about 15 feet and we're going to stand probably over here somewhere. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm actually going to go ahead and shut the garage door so we don't have any light interference, because keep in mind, you could shoot this anywhere, but if you happen to be outside and the sun is glaring on your phone, which is using camera lenses to do all of this, you're probably going to be missing shots, or it's not going to even register your shots. So let me go ahead and measure our distance out, and we'll see if it works with the garage door open. And then if I have to, I'll shut the garage door. But let me measure this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just pretty much measured from where my phone is, okay? And I measured out to about here, so I just left the measuring tape right here in the ground. So that's about 15 feet right there. So here's basically what we're gonna do. We're gonna be shooting at the target back here, but the camera is looking for the laser, and every time the laser hits, it's going to register on this front page right here. So let's go ahead and try our first shot and see how it goes. That looked pretty close to bullseye there. Okay, so our first couple shots were not registering, but I believe it's because I had too much light that was interfering with the lens. So I went ahead and I shut the garage door. Now let's see if this helps out any better. Here we go. Okay, so it seems like that was the problem, was I was just having some light issues. So as you can see here, if we come down here and look, okay, as you can see, all my bullet holes are registered pretty much right in the target at 15 feet, okay? Now you can go into settings and set your target further back or closer forward or whatever you want it to be. But so far it does seem pretty cool. I mean, you get to see where your actual shots are hitting, which is pretty much right where I need it to be. Now keep in mind, if you have your phone on vibrate or the volume down, you're not going to register that gunshot sound. But I made sure that my vibration was off and the volume was turned up so you get that little cool gun sound. But so far, that's pretty cool. So far I was shooting with my Glock. That seemed to work pretty fine. Let's try my HK and see how that goes. Now, before we switch guns, one thing I want you to know, slide your slide back, lock it. You can see your bullet. The bullet might not come out, okay? So what you're gonna need to do is take a pencil or some other kind of small rod, stick it down your chamber and push the bullet out. And then the laser bullet pops right out. So just remember, you're gonna need to use some type of a pencil or some small rod to do that. So let's go ahead. Put the Glock away. Pull out the HK. As you can see here, here's the HK here. No magazine. Completely empty. Dry fire, good to go. So let's go ahead, cock this back, like so. Take our laser bullet, slide it in the chamber. Okay, release it. Should be good to go. So let's go ahead and try the HK out. Now, I am cheating a little bit because I do have a red dot, but it doesn't really matter because I'm pretty accurate at 15 feet no matter what. So let me shoot a few rounds with this. I don't know if it'll work. Let's try to shoot for the top right triangle and let's just see what happens up there. At 15 feet. I can't even see that triangle, but we're gonna try. I guess you can't shoot the triangles. Maybe you can. So let's go ahead. For some reason, I was having troubles hitting the top triangles. I don't know if it was just the light or not registering. But let's go ahead and let me see if I can get you to see what's happening on the screen. Let's try shooting it now so that you can see what's happening on the actual screen. We're just going to keep shooting at the middle target. Now keep in mind, you're gonna have to make sure there's a few seconds of time in between each shot for the actual app to register your shot. So you're not gonna be able to keep shooting very fast. So this is probably not gonna be good for those of you that are practicing speed shooting. But as far as just target acquisition, you know, just practicing trigger pull, so forth, so far I'm really happy with it. Let's get back to our 15-foot mark. Now see, sometimes it doesn't register. Let's try it again. All I gotta say is so far, this is pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty much tearing up. Well, I guess that shot did work up here. I guess you just gotta be careful because if that little laser dot is one hair outside of what that camera can see, it probably isn't going to register. But as you can see, it did register a 0 because that's how the target was set up, as a score of 0. But if you just want to practice hitting some bullseyes on some very hard areas, you could shoot for these outside targets. You're just not going to get the score. But as you can see here, pretty much all of my shots were right there in the bullseye the whole time between the two different guns. So whether I was using my red dot sight on my HK, or if I was not using any sight, like on my Gen 5 Glock 19, either way, as you can see here, I was pretty much hitting bullseye at 15 feet. But so far, my initial impression, I think it's a really good setup. But again, I'm gonna make a few tweaks to the target because as you can see, mine already slid out of the way. So what I'm gonna probably do is find some type of mini clamp and clamp that down in the back so I can hold that target from sliding around. But even the app works pretty good. It's just a little finicky with light. So I did go ahead and shut my garage door. I still have some light coming in, but when I had the garage door open, the sunlight shining in was giving me a lot of bad glare on the camera lens and it wasn't registering the shots. So just keep that in mind. Depending on where you set this up at, if you're in bad lighting, it's probably gonna have some issues registering your shots. But if you locate it in a pretty nice lit room where you're not dealing with direct sunlight or direct light from a light bulb shining down bright on top of that lens, because it's probably not going to register your shot. So I would just recommend playing around with different locations to see which location and lighting is best for your use. But so far it is pretty cool. You could swipe up and it'll tell you your scores. So shot 1 was a 9, 10. So I was pretty much getting 9s and 10s the whole way around. I did have one missed shot, which I guess was shot 13. I don't think that one registered, but again, out of what, 19 shots, I was hitting 9s and 10s pretty much the whole time. So can't go wrong with that. And you can either click delete or share it. So if you and your friends have the same app, you could just share by hitting the share button here, or just hit OK. So that's kind of cool. And then you can just restart and start over. Take your phone out. Let's see, go back. You can hit your statistics button here that talks about your bullseyes, all your different statistics here. So again, I think it's pretty cool. So that was your stats. Let's see, let's go up to, okay. Now, this is what I wanted to show you too. Now, this is just the game mode bullseye. Now, if you pay a couple extra bucks, you can get quick draw, which is an upgraded game, or high score. So those two are blacked out because you have to purchase those. But they're probably only a couple dollars, literally like maybe $4 or $5 or something like that if you wanted to buy them within the app. But if you don't want to buy them, you can still use the regular basic bullseye, and then you still have all of your additional settings in here as well. So you can even change the size. You can even change the gunshot sound or the bullet hole size. So a lot of cool settings. But so far, I think it's pretty cool. Okay, everybody, so that is it for today's video. So far, my initial impressions of the Itarget, I give it a go. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's going to really help me out in just allowing me to target practice more so that I don't get rusty. Because I'm sure, as many of you know, when you don't shoot all the time, or at least shoot regularly, you start to get rusty, and that's not what we want for any of us that are gun enthusiasts. You want to make sure that you're pretty good and comfortable with your particular gun. But again, so far, I give it a go. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's definitely worth the money, especially in today's market where you're going to spend $40 to $50 for a box of shells anyways. Just think of it this way. 2 boxes, this whole entire kit's paid for. So you figure, even if you got a box of 50 shells, that's 100 rounds. So for the price you paid for 100 rounds, you could basically buy this whole kit and get thousands of rounds of just practicing. And then what does it cost you after that? A couple dollars in batteries. I'd say it's a pretty good deal. So again, would I recommend the Itarget for those of you looking to practice more without having to spend all the additional money on ammo? I would say yes. I give it a thumbs up. Go check them out. So that's it for today's video. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. If you happen to have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So again, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. I truly appreciate all of the support. And as always, see you in the next video.